Hey everyone, I'm Coach Trevor, and in today's video, we'll be diving into the world of sciatica, which can be better described as that sharp or tingling pain felt running along your back, across your butt, or even down your leg. But to explore various treatment options and ways to prevent this pain from returning, we first need to cover what causes sciatica in the first place. So that being said, let's start with the what and why behind sciatica. Sciatica is often explained as an irritation of the sciatic nerve, most commonly caused from herniated or bulging discs of the spine, or a spasm of the piriformis muscle, which is also located close to the sciatic nerve. Some common ways this nerve can become irritated in the first place is due to a compression of the spine discs, muscle cramps, or spasms which pinch or put pressure on the nerve. These nerve impingements are often a result of sedentary lifestyles, poor posture, obesity, or a lack of regular exercise. Now, we'll come back to the causes and preventative measures you can take in a little bit, but chances are you're experiencing this pain if you're watching this video. So let's address where your sciatica is coming from in order to give you the best recovery route to alleviate those symptoms. The first place your sciatica symptoms may be originating from is the low back, and in particular from rubbing facet joints or bulging and compressed spine discs. Your facet joints and discs are in near constant motion throughout the spinal column. So to test if your symptoms are originating from the back, we're going to put our flexibility up to the plate with 3 stretches to see if symptoms flare up or stay at bay. To start with, number 1, place your arms behind your back and slowly allow your body and neck to slouch forward. It's important to remember that with any of these movements, we are simply testing a pain point. So pushing past the point of pain or holding our particularly painful position for a long period of time is not necessary. For our second test, we'll be reversing our first movement by testing our range of motion leaning back. In a stable seated position, slowly allow your upper body to lean back while aiming to keep your center of gravity grounded in the chair. And now for our last test, allow your shoulders and neck to slouch forward while applying upward pressure to a bench or chair, which is mimicking the compression of your spine throughout daily activities. Now, if any of these movements flared up that same sciatic pain you've been dealing with, chances are we've found our spot. However, if that did not impact your range of motion with pain, let's address the second spot your sciatica symptoms may be originating from. The second pain point we'll be addressing is around the buttocks. Now, if this happens to be the area you're experiencing pain in, as mentioned before, this is most likely due to a spasm or inflammation of the piriformis muscle, which your sciatic nerve happens to be located right next to. And what's particularly interesting is that for each individual, the location of the sciatic nerve in relation to the piriformis muscle can differ. For example, your sciatic nerve may only run above or below the piriformis. However, for some individuals, part of the sciatic nerve will run directly through the muscle itself, causing slight variations from person to person. Now, the treatments, however, remain the same. And to test if the piriformis muscle is the pain point giving you sciatic symptoms, here are our stretches. To start off, we're going to be adding a twist to a traditional figure 4 stretch. And in doing so, we're going to place more tension onto that piriformis muscle. To start off, sit in a chair with both feet completely on the floor. Assume a traditional figure 4 position, bringing one leg on top of the other. Now, slowly bring the knee of your elevated leg to the opposite shoulder. Feeling a stretch, as with most of the movements done today, is completely normal. But if pain occurs, recognize it. If you have trouble with this test due to flexibility, the same movement can be done on your back. Now for our second test, we'll be performing a FAIR test, which stands for flexion, adduction, and internal rotation. This test should produce similar sensations as our first one. And to perform it, start by laying on the side that is not experiencing sciatic pain. Keep your body as straight as possible and avoid shifting your hips when performing the test. From this position, lift the affected leg upwards, stopping at waist level, and allow your knee to drop, aiming to keep your foot at waist level. After performing these tests, you should have a good idea of where the symptoms are originating from, and that answer will determine your recovery path forward. Now to start off, let's address sciatic pain originating from the back. Now we know this is most likely caused to an irritation of the facet joints or a compression of the spine discs. And two options we have to alleviate some of that pain is with our bar hang and with cat-cows. Now, you may have seen online videos boasting about the benefits of bar hangs and spinal decompression. And while those may hold true for our specific case of dealing with sciatic pain, we're going to avoid letting our feet hang freely when performing this movement. Our goal is to allow complete relaxation, not only through the back, but down to the hips and pelvis. And by letting our feet hang freely, it makes that goal much harder to accomplish. While hanging on the bar, allow your feet to touch gently on a surface, giving you the freedom to completely let go of the tension throughout the back and the hips. Aim for a hold of about 30 to 45 seconds and feel free to repeat this movement if further pain is not felt. Now let's say you're having trouble with the bar hang, or you're looking for a second option. This is where our cat-cows come into play. And these can be done anywhere and require no specialty equipment. Now, if this is the first time you're doing this move, you may notice that your range of motion is far less compared to that of the demonstration. But don't worry. Start with what you have, and day by day, you'll be able to get further within the movement. The key here is to be slow and intentional. Speed is not going to equal a better stretch or increased mobility throughout the back. Now, if you're having pain originating from the piriformis muscle, our stretches and movements will be a little different. The two we'll be going over are the forward leg swing and nerve gliding. For our first move, while this may seem like a typical warm-up to an upcoming workout, the difference is going to be our intention, speed, and body placement. To start, keep your hips aligned and straight throughout the movement. Maintain a straight back and avoid leaning forwards or backwards, even if this means not being able to swing your leg as high. As you bring your leg behind you, press up and you should feel mild glute activation. We're trying to avoid using momentum here, but rather giving your sciatic nerve some time and space to move about the piriformis muscle, which may have spasmed or been inflamed. For our second movement, the same reasoning is true, giving your sciatic nerve the opportunity to move and regain flexibility throughout the pelvic and piriformis muscle. To start, sit in a position where your affected leg can move freely underneath you, and where your unaffected leg can rest flat on a surface. From there, slowly begin lifting both your free hanging leg and your head up. Hold for a second at the top and intentionally bring them both back down together. Similar to our leg swings, momentum is not needed or beneficial with this movement. Remain in control of your speed. So after going over some ways to alleviate sciatic pain, the second piece of the puzzle is understanding how it became a problem in the first place so that you can avoid the same pain in the future. As mentioned before, any pressure or pinching on the sciatic nerve can cause the pain you're experiencing. And that being said, here are some common ways this can happen, along with changes you can make to avoid them. Now, the first way you can be irritating your sciatic nerve is by poor posture, mainly from sitting or standing for prolonged periods of time with a slouch or lean to one side. When in a seated position, let's say on the couch, check to see if your shoulders are slouched or rounding forward while your body sinks in. If this is your case, opting for a more firm cushion and standing more frequently would be a good start in changing lifestyle factors. The next common reason you're experiencing sciatic pain is due to an anterior pelvic tilt, which is a tilt forward of the pelvis, often causing shifts in muscle alignment through the low back and the hips. We're often told to stand and sit upright and with a straight back, but how this cue is often performed is by pushing the chest up and pulling the shoulders back. And in context, this sounds great, but in reality, doing so just exacerbates the issue at hand. To address this problem, first get comfortable with forward and backward motion of the pelvis. While standing straight, allow your pelvis to shift forward and back. Recognize the change each step creates in your body. Now, this quick routine alone can help to build more mobility throughout the pelvis if done daily. And in addition, practicing a neutral spine throughout daily activities can make a huge difference in your spine health, leading to less sciatic pain in the future. Now, our final common reason to sciatic pain flaring up is an issue bringing both our past points together, being poor posture and an anterior pelvic tilt, and that is poor footwear. If you spend most of your work days in high lifted heels or shoes with excessive heel lifts, these factors, while seemingly small, play a huge role with sciatica. Take a look at how a slight heel lift here can shift my entire posture. Now multiply this small lift by the factor your shoe or heel is lifting you. Shifting to a low profile shoe with a natural fit and feel is yet another great change you can make to benefit your future self. So team, I know we discussed a lot today, but sciatica is not just a simple ache or pain. Addressing your pain based on its origin and making adjustments to harmful lifestyle factors can all aid to relieve and prevent sciatica from returning. Just like developing your sciatica symptoms, getting rid of them won't be a one-day affair. Allow your body time to adjust and heal. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.